Hi everyone, this is Amy with Ketolicious Life, and I have been recovering from my gallbladder surgery, and while I was doing that I picked up one of my Suzanne Somers books and I was just kind of reading through it, and one of the chapters really stood out to me and I really wanted to talk about it, and it's basically the dangers of a low-fat, high-carb diet. So stay tuned and let's get into it. So, it's been mentioned a couple times, that since I'm having the gallstones and the gallbladder issues, that it's probably because you're eating high fat, and high fat is really hard on your gallbladder and your liver, as that's what I've been told. Well, I wanted to point out it's really important that people understand that eating a high-fat, healthy diet is not responsible for my gallstones. My gallstones were formed many years ago when I was eating a high-carb, low-fat diet. Because you see, when your gallbladder is not being used, that's when the bile that's sitting in there not being used starts to harden and forms gallstones. Your gallbladder needs fat in order to work, to function. And so for so many years, we've been told to lose weight, you have to eat low fat and high carb, like healthy carbs. Well, I've done that for years. I've eaten unhealthy carbs, as well, and high fat diet. So my diet was very unhealthy in the years past. So that would be when the gallstones were formed. They don't form overnight. So I just wanted to put that out there that, that's not the cause of my gallstones. My gallbladder was already really sick and really unhealthy. And, by eating the foods that I'm eating now, I'm eating healthy fats, which started stimulating the gallbladder, which then the gallbladder is like, oh, I have all these stones in here and there's no room for this extra bile that's now coming through. And then it's trying to contract and it's getting irritated by those gallstones. So that's what happens. It's not keto's fault or my high-fat diet's fault that I had to have the surgery. It was just sort of the consequence of all the bad eating that I had done for years. And now I'm trying to make my gallbladder work, and it just can't. It just can't do it. And I really feel that, it was just making me sick all these years. It's been what's been keeping me sick. So as I was reading through this, Suzanne Somers has written some awesome books. And I picked these up at Goodwill or thrift shops. You can pick them up. But her diet plan is called summer sizing, but it's very keto or low carb based. The exception to that is she does allow carbohydrates, but she keeps them separate from fats. And it has to do all with the glycemic index and how your blood glucose spikes with different types of food. And so her plan is really awesome. And I did really well with this a few years ago. Well, not a few years ago, more like 10 years ago. But so I definitely, a lot of the stuff that she's taught in her books has always stuck with me. And, I just wanted to read a couple different things from here. So she talks about, how our food pyramid is like this. And we need to turn it over. Because if you eat that food pyramid, the one that is recommended in the American diet, you're going to look like the food pyramid. You're going to be fat at the bottom and, small head. So turn it over, and that's what you want to look like. Muscly, fit, and slim. So she has a cute little graphic showing that, which I thought was kind of cute. So You know, we've been trained to think that a diet low in fat is the only way to lose weight. That's what we've been told. And, you know, it's easy to think in your mind, fat makes you fat. But what we have to realize is that healthy fats do not make you fat. Sugar, flour, and carbs is what actually makes you fat, because you have to understand how your body is able to break down sugars. And it can only break down so much. So if you're feeding yourself just a lot of carbs, and even though you think they're healthy carbs, your body is breaking those down into sugar. And your body can only use so much. So whatever it doesn't use, it's going to store. So that's where our mindset has to change. We have to understand that fats are not the enemy. So I wanted to read this little blip in here. She said, I have a friend who used to eat a large non-fat frozen yogurt every day. She figured it was basically a free food since it was low in calories and it had no fat. She couldn't figure out why she was gaining weight. And so, I explained that it was the sugar. Sugar is the body's greatest enemy. And don't forget, fat is your friend. Let me further explain why a low-fat diet can be dangerous to your health. We must eat protein and fat to make hormones that regulate the systems of the body and promote healthy cells. Proteins and fat are necessary for the constant rebuilding that takes place in our bodies. When we do not supply our bodies with these essential nutrients, our bodies will break down our muscle and bones to derive the materials they need for rebuilding. Although the scale may say you are losing weight on a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, you are actually losing more muscle and bone mass than you are fat. But again, your body will kick into survival mode and slow down your metabolic process to halt the depletion of your bones and muscle mass. It is at this point that you experience the tired feelings that accompany low-fat, high-carb diets. Low-fat diets deprive our bodies of protein and fat, the essential elements we need for living. So as you can see, you think you're losing weight, but when you're depriving your body of what it needs, it's going to start breaking down its muscle. So if you're not giving your body the fats that it needs to regenerate those cells, you're going to end up losing muscle. And it says even bone. And of course, with any diet, if you go off of that way of eating, you're going to gain it right back. And that really goes for any diet that you do. If you are staying on a lifestyle and you're making healthy choices, and then you go backwards and you stop eating those healthy choices, you're going to probably gain a lot of the weight back. So you really have to make it a mindset. So, what happens when you're eating a really low fat, high carb diet, you end up creating the problem for yourself, insulin resistance. If you have weight gain around the middle, you have insulin resistance. And that's because you have fed your body just too much sugar. It can't process it all. And, the midsection is the first area where insulin tends to store fat. So when it comes to our bodies and how it uses fuel, if you're an athlete and you're working out every single day and you are just, pounding the pavement out there, you are constantly on the go, you probably can get away with higher carbs in your diet. And it's going to break those down into sugar, and your body's able to burn that and burn it off. If you're not a very active person and you don't get a lot of exercise, then you're going to run into problems by doing a low fat, high carb diet. It's going to start showing up because your body just doesn't have any reason to use those excess sugars that you're giving it. So now when we talk about cholesterol and heart disease, if you have high cholesterol, you've probably been hounded by your doctors and your family members to cut back on foods high in fat and cholesterol. But is your low-fat diet helping to lower your cholesterol? Doubtful. Only 20% of the cholesterol found in your blood is a direct result of the foods you eat. The remaining amount is produced by your liver from excess sugars, carbohydrates. So it seems logical to cut back on the fatty foods. So cholesterol is used to make important hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, DHEA, and the anti-stress hormone cortisol. When we deprive our bodies of that cholesterol, the compound the body uses to make these hormones, cell membrane structure is altered and cell growth is disrupted. This causes an increased risk of cancer because cancer arises from the abnormal division of cells. In addition, a lack of cholesterol in our diets can lead to depression and irritability. So it's really important that you realize low fat diets can be very dangerous to your health. Study after study after study have shown that our body needs healthy fats in order to function correctly. Our brain needs fats in order to work. Our hormonal system needs fats in order to produce the proper hormones. If you're struggling with hormonal issues in your body, you definitely don't want to be doing a low fat, high carb diet. You really want to make sure you're getting healthy fats in there so that you are producing the essential hormones that your body needs. For me, I have the thyroid hormonal imbalances, and so I have found that with keto, all of my hormones seem to be much more level. The whole irritability and the stress and the depression has completely evened out. My anxiety has evened out. My hair, my skin, my nails, everything is much healthier. The inflammation in my body is pretty much gone. You can see that, from my gallbladder surgery, I've healed. I've just been able to bounce back from the surgery very quickly. And I think that was because I just didn't have all the inflammation in my body, and it allowed me to do that. I just wanted to explain that these low fat diets, we have to be really careful with them. And a lot of times keto and high fat diets are sort of demonized because people are just scared of the word fat. They hear the word fat. If I eat fat, I'm going to get fat, So we have to look deeper. We have to be able to understand how our body utilizes the foods we are eating. If you put too much sugar, too much flour, too much carbohydrates in your body isn't going to be able to use them all. It will store them as fat. And that goes for fruits. This was interesting. Her husband was a fruit lover. I'm a fruitaholic as well. I've always loved fruit. Oh my gosh, I could eat fruit all day. And that was probably part of my problem. But there's a little story in here where she talks about how he just was a fruitaholic. He loved fruit. And everywhere they went, he was always searching for, his favorite fruits. And when he happened to go to his doctor appointment, he found out his cholesterol was dangerously high, 255. So he started eating more fruit and low fat. He, backed off on his fats and his butter and his dairy and his cheese and all of that. And he's like, I have to watch my cholesterol. So he did all of the things that, at that time, doctors would have recommended you do. And he said, in addition, he ate a lot of fresh vegetables and plenty of pasta. But he started getting pudgy around the middle, and he went back to his doctor. And, he's like, I've been eating more fruit. I've been eating less fat. And surprisingly, his cholesterol went up to 265. So he ended up having to go on, pills to lower his cholesterol. And, it was through that he learned that, sugar was the culprit. The fruit, even though fruit can be very healthy, anything in moderation is the key. If you eat too much fruit, it's going to turn into sugar. And if you already have insulin resistance and you've already flooded your body with too much, it's going to store it as fat. Plain and simple. So when you eat the healthy fats, you're going to increase your HDL, which is the good cholesterol in your blood. And the good cholesterol is what fights off heart disease and other diseases in your body. So if you eat a diet too low in fat, it's going to lower your HDL. That's been shown in studies. So you want to increase your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. And to do that, you're going to need to eat olive oil, butter, fish oil, and foods that help decrease your overall cholesterol, like lean meats, fresh fish, and unsaturated oils. So you're controlling your insulin levels by doing that, and you're eating the healthy fats that your hormones need, and you need that for the good cholesterols. So, that's the basics. And I think my sister was telling me it took her a really long time to get over the fact that she was eating fat and that was good. And, she's lost close over 20 pounds, I believe now. And, now she's like, I understand it's healthy fats and how our body burns them. So when you're on keto, you keep your carbs under 20. You are teaching your body to burn fat for its fuel. So, and that's the whole goal. When you have all this extra fat on your body, we need to teach our body that that's the fuel that we need to use. So that is why we reduce our carbs down to 20. So we're still eating plenty of healthy carbs in vegetables and in some dairy. You're going to get a little carbs as well, and nuts. But by doing that, you are increasing your good cholesterol, and you're allowing your body to burn the fat on the body as fuel instead of the carbohydrates. If you're flooding your body with all these carbs, your body's going to use that as energy, and you're going to either see no difference in weight loss or you're going to gain. You're not going to see the loss that you want to see. So in order to see the loss, we need to burn the fat. And so I just wanted to talk about that, the dangers of low fat diets. We need to really retrain our way of thinking, because for so many years we've been told to follow the traditional pyramid of food, which is very low fat, and it's created, you just look at the epidemic in our country of diabetes, and you look at there's so many people on YouTube, you can look them up, in the Facebook groups that are doing keto, and they have completely reversed their diabetes. They've been able to come off of insulin. They've been able to come off of their medications, because they're now giving their body what it really needs. And it needs a very balance of healthy fats, healthy meats, healthy veggies, healthy greens. And so yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And I'm definitely looking forward to continuing my keto journey without a gallbladder. It wasn't by choice, but that's how it worked out. And I really do feel that I'll be better off for it, and I think my body will be healthier as a result. I had already gotten my body to a much healthier state, but unfortunately the gallbladder just wasn't able to keep up and wasn't able to be saved. So yeah, so anyway, I just hope that this helps. And if you ever are able to pick up one of her books, maybe I'll do a giveaway at some point and give away some of her books, because there's awesome recipes in here. And just the way that she explains everything about how the body works and how it utilizes sugar and fats. She does it in a really great way, the way she explains things. So now if you were going to use her plan, you would just leave out the part where she allows you to eat complex carbs. If you wanted just to keep it strict keto, it's very easy to separate that out in her book. You just don't eat the carbs. Most of her recipes are actually more on the high fat, healthy, high fat side. We all want to lose the weight and we want to be healthy, but sometimes we might pick the wrong way to get there. And a low-fat, high-carb diet is not always the way to get there. If you're juicing and you're taking in way more sugar through all those fruits than your body can use, you're going to continue to pack on the weight. It's going to that's going to stress your liver because you're processing all of that sugar, which in turn, a lot of people end up with fatty liver. Sugar and carbs are responsible for that. It's not fat. So it's hard for some people to wrap their brains around it. And I think if you just really look into how the body burns those things and start reading up on that, you'll start to see and you'll start to understand. So don't be afraid of the fats. Don't be afraid of the butter and the sour cream and the healthy fats. Be afraid of depriving your body of the things it needs in order to be healthy. You need the fats for your hormones. You need the fats in order to reduce insulin levels. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll probably keep doing some little different reviews on different things like this throughout her books, because a lot of this stuff is it isn't new. I mean, it's stuff we're hearing. But this book was written, let's see, when was this published? This was copyright published in 1999. So this information is not new. This has been around for a very long time. The keto diet has been used for 100 years, going way back, to treat people with epilepsy. And, it's still often used for people that have seizures, and it's a very healthy diet. Otherwise, it wouldn't be used medically, So the message is just to, be open-minded to the high-fat diet, and don't be afraid of it in terms of what we've been always told by our doctors, by different people who just kind of think that they know, but they're maybe a little bit misled, that's all. It just made a lot of sense to me once I really learned about, okay, so our body converts all of those fruits, it's going to break it down into sugar. And then when you actually read how much sugar your body is able to use in a small window of time, it's not very much. I don't remember the exact number, but our body's only able to use so much in a period of time. Anything over that, it just has to be stored. So high carbs and sugar is really dangerous for the body unless you really know what you're doing. You're much better off eating higher fats and keeping your sugars really, really low. For me, completely eliminating sugar from my diet has been profound in my health. And I don't miss it anymore. I don't have the cravings. It's crazy. I just don't crave the bad foods. I mean, I feel like there's so many wonderful foods in the keto world. Keto pizza, keto chili, spaghetti. I just don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. In fact, I'm eating way better than I was before. Before, I was starving myself because I was trying to lose weight the wrong way. Now I'm eating very healthy foods. I'm eating way more vegetables and greens than I ever used to before. So when someone tells me that, keto is unhealthy, I'm just kind of going, but wait a minute. I'm eating like a salad every single day, and I'm having cauliflower and broccoli almost every day, or asparagus, or zucchini. I'm eating so much healthier than I was before. So, just be really careful with those low fat diets, especially if you've already got insulin resistance, especially if you have fatty liver, especially if you have thyroid conditions, hormonal, you know, problems. You want to stay away from the low fat. You need the fat in order to correct those things. All right, well, that's going to conclude my video for today. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know down below if you'd be interested in maybe a giveaway on one of Suzanne's books, just for fun. And that would be kind of a fun thing to do. So we'll see how I'll see how I can work that out, but I think that would be fun. I'm almost to 800 subscribers, so maybe I could do a giveaway at 800 subscribers or something like that. But anyway, so thanks so much for watching, and you guys all have a great week. Please feel free to join us over on Facebook, on my Facebook group, Ketolicious Life. And you can also follow me on Instagram. I post different things there pretty much daily, whatever I'm eating or whatever I'm up to. I usually post pictures on there. And yeah, I'd love to have you. I'd love for you to join our group. We have a great community there. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.